Guys and ghouls gather round as we move into the spoopiest time of year, mid-August. Soon, those fleshy green leaves will turn a crimson red as they slowly wither their life force away, leaving the trees stripped naked in humiliation, standing as silent sentinels, their branches reaching like skeletal fingers towards the grey sky, in this, the season of decay. We disembowel our sacrificial jack-o'-lanterns in the name of Samhain, drinking pumpkin spice lattes brewed from their innards. What is that chirping I hear? A cute little blue jay? No, that's a spooky raven. You can tell it's evil because it is black. I don't mean it that way. We're playing Castlevania. We've got a lot of game to cover, so I'll stop wasting time and get to the heart of the matter. 1997, Konami was taking the Castlevania series to the next generation of consoles, following Rondo of Blood, which released on the TurboGrafx CD. An all-around great entry, but on a system that was both falling behind technologically, but also in sales numbers, so they moved the direct sequel over to the PlayStation 1. The funny thing is, most people were betting on the N64 being the future of the series, immediately bashing Symphony of the Night.
If you've ever needed proof that the N64 is miles ahead of the 32-bit competition, just compare these shots to the new PlayStation version of Castlevania.
Turns out game journalists have always been fucking retarded. Sadly, I had friends who felt the same way, ignoring the game completely. However, time makes fools of us all, and only one of these games is a beloved classic that has an entire subgenre named after it, so we know who won. We skip past the cheat codes in name entry for now, treating this part of the run like a real first playthrough, and immediately we are dropped into the ending of Rondo, taking control of Richter Belmont. This guy's got some moves, however, again, you would not know these things your first playthrough, so we will cover that later as well. While his first appearance was in Rondo of Blood, as briefly mentioned earlier, which again released on TurboGrafx in 1993, it was later reimagined in 1995 to fit on the Super Famicom, releasing as Castlevania X. Castlevania X is a decent enough entry into the series, retaining the more important plot points from Rondo, and while there is nothing wrong with it at all, it doesn't fully live up to its counterpart. You could even argue that it is a step backwards from Super Castlevania 4, which still stands as the definitive entry on that console. Equipped with the iconic vampire killer, Richter embarks on a quest to save his beloved Anastasia from the clutches of Dracul. The story offers branching paths similar to most entries, with the gimmick here being the use of the key sub-weapon, to find and free the 4 young virgin maidens Dracul has abducted for his cool guy waifu harem. Those 4 girls being Iris, Terra, Anastasia or Annette, and most importantly, Maria Renard, who we will dive into a bit more later on. Strolling into Dracula's man cave, we encounter the legend himself, preparing to deliver one of the most infamous monologues in gaming history.
So, we meet again, Belmont. Do you know your father died in exactly that spot? Woo! What's that? A whip? Woo! You hit the tip! You son of a bitch! The tip! I'm the master tip! I don't have to stand for this.
I'm gonna be real with you. The "what is a man" line is far too often exaggerated and played up for views. This is far from the worst acting you will find in other games from this time. This isn't even the worst acting in this game, let alone this very monologue.
But enough talk! How about you?
Your first time through, you may attempt to play like classic Castlevania, going for those well-aimed headshots while learning the timing and controls. You even have a small buffer in the form of Maria coming in to assist you if your health drops too low, just like in Super Metroid. In fact, contrary to belief, this is the real reason the subgenre is referred to as Metroidvania. Now, if you're doing a replay, or just want to be an edgy troll boy, you could stock up on hearts and rip this guy apart using the Cross's super, which is a huge indication that spells and sub-weapons really matter in this game.
No! It cannot be!
And now we get an unskippable opening crawl, which simultaneously goes on for way too long, while also scrolling just fast enough so that you have to rush through reading it. Long story short, after Richter took out Dracul, everything was cool for about 4 years, but now he's missing, so Maria's run off to find the guy, but now the castle's back even though you normally get an entire century of peacetime. So all that crap's going on, Alucard wakes up early, wondering what in the hell is going on at his dad's place, and that is when we get one of the most badass entrances you could ask for on a console from the mid-90s. Alucard is skipping the foreplay of journeying to Castlevania, choosing to penetrate it raw without asking for permission. He is on the attack, and the game instantly swings into power fantasy mode, starting you with endgame equipment, allowing you to effortlessly one-shot everything in your path. The Wolfens offer almost no challenge, mostly waiting for you to strike, but you do need to watch out for the zombies crowding. They might try to chew on you. A mistake I made early on in this playthrough was treating it like a speed run, despite the fact that I have not played this game for over a decade, and have zero memory of where the items are located. On a first playthrough, you'd most likely look around the room more, hanging out with the fish people and gaining some early experience, and maybe a level or two. I am an impatient person, however, and so we stumble our way into the courtyard for our first meeting with Death.
Ah, Alucard. What is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Straight to the point, Alucard makes it clear that he is here to rid the world of this castle, and so Death tells him that he can fuck right off with that before stealing all of his gear and immediately running off, most likely to laugh at you with the other monsters. Naked and afraid, the training wheels are off, and so we begin searching for some equipment while continuing forward. A well-placed jump can score you an early heart tank, so it's very much worth attempting. Boom, nailed it the first attempt, because I am awesome like that. Continuing on, we punch out the first person we make eye contact with, to pick up a sword and continue exploring. There's a lot of variety to the weapons in this game, not just tiny sword, big sword, but you have tonfas, magic wands, and brass knuckles. You can even throw boomerangs. They were having fun with it. Continuing upward, we grab our first relic, the Cube of Zoe, finally allowing us to get items from the candles that we strike. The relic system is the backbone of exploring in these games, and while you could say Metroid did it first, most of those upgrades are the equivalent of finding a new weapon. Whereas these are all new abilities, like double jumping or flying as a bat or summoning a fairy, which makes it feel a bit more special. Traveling through the alchemy laboratory, we find one of many hidden rooms and another heart tank, and a little further up we find a stylish leather cape that does in fact show up on your player sprite. Most of these items I'm going to skip past, for the sake of allowing you the chance to explore this game yourself, and also because I do not want this video to go on for several hours. Reaching the boss room, we are greeted by Ornstein and Smog. I'm sorry, I mean Slorga and Gaiban. Normally these two are reserved for late game boss fights, but in Symphony of the Night they are jobbing at the start, as another small story detail to show you how powerful Alucard is, even at a low level. If you focus on Spearduck, you can keep him in a relatively safe loop for that portion of the fight, making for a fairly easy 1v1 with Demon's Crest. Grabbing the heart tank that every boss drops, we continue forward, making our way towards the Marble Gardens. The gardens will serve only as a pass-through for now, but we will be returning to this clock area multiple times. This is also where we first run into Maria, who has grown up a bit since the last game.
You seem human, and yet, what do you here?
I've come to destroy this castle.
While not playable on the PS1 release, Maria is legit fun to speedrun on Saturn, and with how OP she is, the average person can easily beat the game in under 20 minutes with just a little practice. For now, these two have very little to say to one another. They both have similar business here, so basically agree to stay out of one another's way. Continuing through the gardens to the outer wall, we first make our way down in order to spot the ferryman, making his way to the docks where we will meet up later. We then climb back up towards the top, meeting our doppelganger at the halfway point, and he legit kicked my ass this run. This is when I learned being underleveled was a huge mistake, and while I still won, a lot of it was getting him caught in a loop. More climbing, and we arrive at the Long Library, which will be another location you return to often. It is also here that we will snag the Fairy Scroll, giving us the crucial power of knowing monsters' names.
Hey, Duran, get your dumb ass back in the house and bring your sister spell book.
It's been a long time, old one.
Oh, it's you, Master Alucard. What do you need?
For now, we are only concerned with purchasing the Jewel of Open, which will allow us to travel through some of the sealed doors we passed earlier. For new players, however, this is a good place to purchase spell instructions. You could also cheat by looking them up on Google, but this is how the game intended you to learn. This feels like a bit of a mistake, and from experience it did not encourage me to use these spells as often as you should. In fact, it was this run that showed me how overpowered they really are, with Summon Spirit almost acting as an auto-win move in almost every situation. Exiting the library, we continue climbing, opening up the first teleport relay and unlocking fast travel, before returning to climb yet again, in order to open up the elevator, allowing us to obtain the Soul of Wolf. Now having a fork in your path, many new players will go towards the chapel first. However, in this run, I chose to go straight towards the underground. Simply hit this switch that we can now access thanks to the item we purchased, and the trapdoors will open. Heading left to avoid the pit, we make sure to search around for the few power-ups and items in the area, taking the stairs down into the underground where we will encounter a fake Meowth with this mini-boss. Easy by design, you can fight him from a safe distance due to his limited mobility. We then quickly sprint through this trap room as the water rises, causing damage to the player, because apparently vampires hate water, like cats. And now we face the goddess of the sea, first written about in Homer Simpson's Odyssey, Scylla. And that giant snake we fought earlier, that was her giant cock, of which she has 3, and now she's wildly swinging them in your face. If you hang back, striking at those throbbing heads, you'll quickly circumcise all 3, allowing you to get up close and personal, by which I mean you can get behind her and cheese the rest of the fight for an easy win. Our reward for dropping that bitch? A new cloak, and it looks fresh. Showing off our new threads, we head west and drown some dorks. We then sneak under the waterfall to grab another health up before hitching a ride with the ferryman.
I'll take you to a place which might be interesting for you.
Guess what? He's full of shit, because all you're going to find there is the mermaid statue, which essentially allows you to summon him back where I fought the last boss, next time you happen to loop around the entire castle. Ditching that crackhead, we head back up, unlocking another door, bringing us back to the main hall. See? We're right there. Taking the long way, all the way back to the first magic door we came across, we run into Maria once more, exiting the chapel, which will be very confusing in just a moment.
So, we meet again, Alucard.
It seems so.
As friendly as ever, I see.
Oh my god, will you two just get it over with and bang each other already? In all seriousness, Maria is horned up for that Alucussy. It's actually canon in the audiobooks that the two ended up moving in with one another after this game. It's a bit complicated though. He's a 300-year-old immortal vampire which are known for preying on young girls, and she is currently 17. So the age gap has some fans questioning Alucard's motive. Guess what? Time to start climbing again. This area is probably the most vertically designed, and it is here that I learned to abuse the spell Summon Spirit. It is an incredibly low MP move that summons a projectile above you that then homes in on the closest enemy. In this case, these annoying-ass birds that always swoop in to send you back to the bottom. I believe a large chunk of the items in this area are right out in the open, so you'd do yourself a favor in taking a little extra time exploring the rooms. Following the incredibly linear layout of this section, you'll randomly wander into the boss room, this time facing the Hippogriff. Genuinely one of the easiest fights in the game, he telegraphs every attack and leaves constant openings, and with the aid of Summon Spirit, it becomes laughable, especially if you went underground first, giving you a few extra levels. Hey, Maria's back. And I guess she just decided to run a lap around the entire fucking castle in 5 minutes. Although she does have the fastest speedrun of all the characters, so maybe she really can do that.
Do you know the name Richter Belmont?
Of the Belmont clan? Of course, but...
He disappeared about a year ago, and I'm sure he's here. If you see him, please let me know.
As you wish, my lady.
That's weird. This game implies that Richter, Alucard, and Maria don't really know one another, but according to Netflix, they're best buds who met when she was 17. Did they just make up a bunch of bullshit? And I'm gonna be kinda pissed if I don't get to play as my favorite character, Girl Wearing Yellow. I am not a fan of this cartoon. Castlevania is usually pretty simple. You have the journey to the castle, battling monsters along the way, and then finally exploring the keep and challenging Dracul to a battle in his chambers. Good times. But for some reason, Netflix decided to be Netflix and do the opposite, having the characters waste time in the library till finding a magical lever that teleported the castle to them for a rushed battle with Dracula in his living room. Also, the writers think it's incredibly hilarious when Carmilla says, fuck. That's the whole joke. Alright, I get it. We'll get back to the fucking game. Stupid goddamn fucking wolf. Heading west across the top of the map, we find ourselves at the castle keep, with a teleporter sitting right next to us. There is very little to do here right now besides pick up a new blade. However, going out onto the rooftop to the left leads to one of the most important relics in the game, the Leap Stone. This will now allow us to double jump, which not only opens up multiple new paths and makes getting around much easier, but is also crucial for better maneuvering during harder boss fights later in the game. It's at this point that the game opens up a bit, giving you a billion choices in how you handle area order and cleanup. For no reason in particular, I did an early return to the library to sell off some rocks and get a few items. While here, I felt I might as well clear out the smaller section to the west, first going up top to grab the legendary stone mask. That's right, Castlevania was making JoJo references nearly 3 decades before the meme. This isn't without reason. JoJo was already incredibly popular at this point despite barely cracking the West. The Fighter even released in the same console generation as this game. I won't go too far off topic, but for those of you unfamiliar with the series, the Phantom Blood arc follows a story structure that feels straight out of classic Castlevania. Essentially Jojo Belmont, traveling the countryside and battling Count Dio in his very own Devil's Castle. In fact, I would say JoJo is actually the better Castlevania anime on Netflix. Push on this bookcase a little and grab the Holy Rod, one of the better weapons for this point in the game, and we will immediately test it out in a boss fight downstairs. This guy is laughably easy, more of an extra than a real boss. They appear a lot as normal enemies during the second half. Past the boss are a few random items and a delicious hot dog. However, we are missing the mist form, and will have to return shortly. Returning to the outer wall, I remembered a secret I should have shown you much earlier. It's been a while. Past this guard is a small room, with a little break in the wall, hiding nothing but a pot roast. However, if you crouch down in this spot for a moment, a secret platform will take you into the room below, much earlier than you normally would get there, granting you some very powerful equipment. This little secret most likely being a nod to Castlevania 2 and the obscure kneeling puzzle from that game. We now climb all the way back up, entering the clock tower, and along our path we hit these 4 gears lining the walls until hearing an audible click, which will unlock another secret room and some more great equipment. We then ignore this charlatan, hiding a breakable wall behind him that contains the healing mail, which is comparable to our current armor, with a slow life regain. Up top we take on Karasuman, another simple boss due to the spot beneath him being a safe zone for several of his moves, and from here we finally have access to Dracula's chambers. However, it's not time to face him yet, and so we begin our long cleanup. First we head down into the basement, taking our second trip with the ferryman in order to grab the holy symbol, allowing us to touch water without taking damage, allowing us to double jump from the waterfall over to the monkey switch, monkey throw barrel, barrel make hole, we jump down hole and beat Cerberus to death with a stick. We then continue down grabbing the demon card, allowing us to summon him as a familiar, allowing him to hit this switch, which allows us to take a moment to admire this Venus weed because she's kinda hot. Next we grab the Ring of Ares and the Power of Sire before cheesing Grand Falloon with Spirit Summon and then leaving in frustration because we shouldn't have fucking come down here yet. We then head back up to the clock room where we should have gone in the first place, using the stopwatch to open the path on the right, allowing us to grab the bullshit Alucard armor. We then go back down again and chill for a second, allowing the left path to open on its own. Heading up through the Orlok zone, we will unlock another teleporter before heading west into the arena. Making sure to grab the Bloody Cloak, which will convert damage into hearts. We will then go up top grabbing the Shield Rod, which is the most OP item in the entire game, so do not skip this. And then we make our way into the center of the Colosseum for our first ever encounter with Richter Belmont. And again, I'm trying to figure out how the Netflix thing is supposed to make sense. Yeah, I get it. I'll shut up about the cartoon.
Who are you? Open Hell's Gate! Come forth, my servants!
The scent of your blood. You're a Belmont.
Crush this flea who invades my castle!
Plot twist, Richter has become a Dracul. Unsatisfied with the comfort of retirement, he's returned to the castle to keep the hunt going, setting some jobbers on us for sport. Werewolf and Minotaur are admittedly kinda cool despite absolutely sucking ass as bosses, due to being over-leveled. But they also come back later as regular enemies, so I'm at least happy knowing I get to see them again. If you are the appropriate level, the easiest way to deal with them is to try and separate the two, taking out whichever one you prefer first while trying not to get stuck between them.
I'm certain that was a Belmont. So he says he's the lord of this castle.
Now knowing who the true enemy is, we activate the elevator and grab the Form of Mist relic, allowing us to travel through grates. Hold up, wait, no, I can do this. Hold up. There we go. Now we are able to return to the library, using the Form of Mist to obtain the Form of Bat that will allow us to confront Richter in his lair. However, for the sake of setting up the next video, we are going to take care of just a little more cleanup to make sure we are 100% prepared for the second half of this game. Leaving the library, we grab the fairy card, allowing us to summon her in place of the demon because she can heal and also because fairies are hot. We then head up to the clock tower to grab the Fire of Bat, allowing us to spit fire as a bat. We then go back up to the castle keep to grab some health and heart power-ups along with the ghost card that allows us to, shocker, summon a ghost. Fuck. Next we head up to confront Lord Orlox, a boss who is not fucking about. Round 1 feels like a Dracula fight, with him summoning flame pillars along with some ghost swarms which can be dealt with using our best friend, Summon Spirit. Form 2 is where things start to get rough, and I recommend powering through his fireball attack to deal as much damage as you can. You could probably also dodge it with the mist form, but I forgot. You ever forget? Well, that's what happened. Another thing that randomly happened was this weird glitch out in his transformation, for some reason filling in with the background sprite. At first it didn't seem important, but after defeating the boss for the first time, he got locked in his animation, forcing a reload. That setback ignored, we defeat him again, grabbing the Echo of Bat, which we will need as part of our final quest, obtaining the gold and silver rings. One more time, first we go back to the science lab, grabbing the skill of Wolf, and then immediately go back to the start of the game to murder this man's beloved pet before grabbing the power of Wolf, and with these two items combined, we haul ass back to the basement.
Don't forget that some animals can live in complete darkness.
Thanks, Navi. Using Echo of the Bat to navigate this one and only time, we will get the spike armor, which we will also use on a puzzle once and only once, along with a free library card for a quick escape. We then head back to the clock room, again, because I forgot to grab the gravity boots, which will give us the high jump ability, and then we hop up to the chapel, using that new armor to gain entrance to this hall, where we will meet up with our Germoria once more.
So, did you find Richter?
I don't know if he's the one you're looking for, but I found a Belmont.
Alucard explains to her that Richter has taken control of the castle, and in her shock, she is unable to believe his words, reacting as all women do, by running off while crying. We ain't got time for bitches, so we grab the silver ring, making our way towards our other goal. Speaking of stupid bitches, it's time to fight the succubus. Entering into the nightmare, Alucard comes across his mother, about to be burned as a heretic, probably for talking too fucking much.
Mother!
That voice! Alucard, it's you!
Now, obviously this is all a dream, if the name of the level being Nightmare wasn't a dead giveaway. Alucard's mother goes on a weird Twitter rant about killing all of the humans, mostly trying to mindfuck the guy. Long story short, we've got us a succubus problem.
No! You're not my mother! What kind of demon are you?
You broke free of my spell. I like that.
Demon! Death is too good for you.
Come here, little boy, and show me what you've got.
All preamble aside, this is one of the weaker boss fights in the game, and you can basically sit off at a distance pelting her with summon spirit until she drops.
Darkling, I smell your blood. You're a vampire? Could it be... that strength, that beauty? You're the son of Lord Dracula.
Death in the dream world will set your soul wandering for eternity, demon.
Wait! I beg of you!
I told you Dracula's acting wasn't the worst thing in this game. That situation dealt with, we grab the gold ring and we are ready to meet with Maria. However, we are going for the bad ending in this part, so we'll save that scene for later, as we make our final approach towards the keep and our battle with Richter.
I've been waiting for you.
Answer me. Why is a Belmont planning the resurrection of Count Dracula?
Count Dracula rises but once every century, and my role is over. If I can resurrect him, then the battle will last for eternity.
Truth be told, the game half expects you to fight this guy the first second you get the chance. Exploring for every item has leveled me well past a fair match, and with the armors and weapon effects added in, you will win this battle without even thinking at this point, which is a drawback to the RPG mechanics. However, we are going for the bad ending, which means we must slay the Slayer even though we can save him.
It's over, Belmont.
So the war between humans and vampires finally ends here. What need for the shepherd when the wolves have all gone? My time on this world has come to an end.
So you made it.
Alucard, how's Richter?
I'm sorry.
I see. Thank you for stopping him. Do you suppose that this too was fate?
So your journey is over as well then?
No, not until I learn what caused Richter's madness.
I understand. Well then, may the gods guard you along the way. Farewell.
You as well, Alucard. Goodbye.
Worry not, that is only the first half of the game, and there is still time to save everyone. So far we have basically been playing on easy mode, and when we get back in, things are gonna ramp up really fast, as we go after Death, Shaft, and Dracul himself. Thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who got adopts this week, and I will catch you in the next one.